Are y'all ready to get into this big, delicious Italian beef sandwich? I'm going to show you how to make it. We're going to do two versions. The more traditional version like this with some sliced roast beef, and a quicker version where we'll shred the beef up and pile it onto our sandwich with some pickled vegetables, sauteed peppers. Both tasty, all done in the Instant Pot. Let me show you what we did. Start with a rump roast. That's 3.88 pounds. It's got a little bit of marbling in there, not too much, not too little. And we're going to season it with kosher salt, black pepper, oregano, garlic powder, and a little red pepper flakes. That's optional if you like it a little bit spicy. So I cut the rump roast in half, seasoned it really well, and I'm going to brown each half in that hot Instant Pot. Ooh, listen to that sizzle. Okay, let's see what's going on in this pot. Look at that. You want to get it nice and brown to build up that flavor. Then we'll take this out and brown the other half. Now, I cut it in half for two reasons, so that it would fit better in the Instant Pot. And also, I'm going to show you two different ways to serve the Italian beef. One is going to be the quick and tasty way, and the other is going to be the, I hope you have patience because it's going to take a day, but more traditional way. So we'll get back to that a little later. Both are well worth it. Ooh, get that steam. We're going to pour in our beef broth. Now we'll put the lid on and we'll set it to meat stew, and we're going to let it go for 60 minutes. All right, that's done. Let's see what we got. Now, if you want to eat it right away, well, then you just shred it with a couple of forks, pull it apart. I'm going to put the shredded beef back into the broth so that it can get all nice and juicy, and then I'm going to serve it nice and wet, and even dunk the bread in the broth. It's all about the broth. Now, when it's time to serve that quick version of your Italian beef, after you've shredded up, dunked it back into the broth, you're going to load it up with those sweet peppers you sauteed earlier. You're going to grab a jar of this giardiniera mix, Italian pickled vegetables, and you're going to load some of that. It's got, oh, I need my fingers for that, excuse me, cauliflower and carrots, more peppers. It's a whole meal. Got to get some carrots on there. And serve it with a side of beef broth so you can dunk your sandwich. Oh man, look at that. That's beautiful. So that's if you want to eat it the same day. You're going to shred it up, serve it with lots of broth, pickled vegetables, and sauteed peppers. Now I'm going to take, oh, look at that, part of that, and see, it does lose a little bit of its volume, but that just means that the meat has given a lot of its flavors to the broth. So for the more traditional Italian beef, I'm going to let this chill with some broth overnight in the refrigerator, so that way it'll be sliceable. Then we'll reheat the broth and the beef and serve it. To help cool this down more quickly, I'm going to put a pint jar of ice water in here and then stick the whole thing in an ice water bath and get that temperature to drop down, and then I'll chill it in the refrigerator. For your more traditional Italian beef sandwich, you're going to chill it overnight in the fridge with some broth. And then the next day, you slice it as thin as you can. Not too thin because you don't want it to fall apart. And then you reheat it in the broth before you load it on to your bread. And there you have it. This is the more traditional Italian beef sandwich. That's some messy goodness right there. Sliced roast beef, the pickled vegetables, sauteed peppers. It's some good stuff. It is messy, so you're going to have to lean into it when you eat it. And you can dunk it right back into some broth. The whole sandwich, just dip it in some hot broth. And there you have it. That is your Italian beef sandwich. Dunk that whole sandwich in the juice, in the broth. You can take it out now. And then you lean into it. Ah, there we go. Now you're talking.